Lori Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. They have free estimates. They do at CC Electric, military and veteran discounts. Check them out, CC Electric. It is Thursday, final hour. That means we kick things off by heading out on the D4 Land Services hotline, because that's where most guests join me. And we get to hang out with Rusty Burson. He is an Aggie historian. He is also an author, and he's just an all-around all right dude. Rusty, what are you up to, dude?
Just working away and, waiting for Saturday's basketball game and kind of finally getting my voice back from Wednesday night. Did a lot of yelling and
The softball game?
High-fiving at the basketball game.
Oh, that's Tuesday. Okay, I got you now.
Yeah.
You threw me off, man. You said Wednesday. I'm like, Aggie softball against Louisiana? That was a run rule game. Why are we screaming so much?
No, I'm sorry. Tuesday night. Tuesday night, I was doing quite a bit of yelling and high-fiving, fist-bumping, and telling Kentucky fans to go home.
I'm sure those are the words you used too, right?
Safe travels, boys.
Safe travels. Hasta then la vista. You know, the Kentucky win, I'm honest about things, and I give A&M about a 1 to sub 1% chance to win that. And I love those kind of wins. For me, unexpected. For me, they rose up off the mat. They rose up from the dead. And for me, they have given themselves to reset heading into the most important time of the year. You got to follow up. If you lose to LSU, it's like football. If you beat Alabama and Tuscaloosa, LSU and Baton Rouge, it's what you do next that decides the value of those wins. I feel like Kentucky beat LSU, go into the SEC tournament on a free roll. You have set everything up by beating Kentucky, but you got to beat LSU for that to be true.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I mean, because all the good that you did by beating Kentucky, it's gone out the window if you don't take care of business and also, beat LSU. Not totally unlike way back, beating number one Oklahoma in football, and the next week you turn around and you lose to Missouri. So you can't do that. You got to take advantage of the situation, step up, and just make sure that you can continue the role. I love the total contributions they got in the Kentucky game, because it wasn't just Aggie and Hill like it's been so often during the streak, with the 2-6 streak. Ron Griffin stepped up, and obviously Ruben Dominguez stepped up, but so did Pop Isaacs and Zach Clements. I mean, they all were big, and Ali Deba with a steal that he kicks it out to Ruben for the three, and it seemed like everybody was getting into the flow, and I salute Bucky because he really wanted to shake things up. And, apparently the starters had gotten beaten down by the second team in practice. And so he was like, well, you have to earn the starting role every time. So that lineup that he threw out there, I was kind of shaking my head when I saw Federico starting the game ahead of Aggie. But I think he wanted to prove a point that you got to come to practice every day and show up at practice if you want to start.
And I think the motivation worked both ways. Obviously, these guys getting their first starts of SEC play were motivated, but I felt that the former starters responded to the switch too. It worked both ways. Yeah,
I did too. I figured there would be a shakeup. I didn't realize it was going to be that dramatic. And it didn't take very long for, Aggie to get on the floor and Federico to get on the bench. But, I was surprised with that starting lineup. And then, I was certainly just, my wife looked over at me when it was 30-18, and she said, stop pouting. You're not doing any good.
Did she really?
Yes, she did.
Oh, that's so cool.
So she said, you need to stop pouting. They're either going to come back or they're not. But you sitting over there pouting is not going to do any good. So then we went, very quickly. We turned around and Ruben with the big three to go up 31-30. And she looked at me. She said, see? And then, of course, that 27-3 run, I was just, I couldn't believe it. Because we hadn't seen that in a long time. I saw it, it's kind of like similar to the way the Georgia game started. It was like 22-0. And just didn't see that coming because, Kentucky was really rolling there they had gone on that run to get up 30-18. It just felt like, oh no, all this great vibe of what it's been like, and it just feels like it's slipping away. I mean, from 7-1, and you could just kind of feel like, oh, man, I hope this doesn't unravel. And so for them to come back and win that game was just huge. And now you got to go do it, follow up. LSU's played a lot of close games. I mean, they got some athletes over there. So, the A&M's going to have to go play a very good basketball game. It's not like you just roll in there and beat them, because if you think back to that team should have beat Kentucky. I mean, they had the Christian Laettner kind of comeback, with the pass and the shot, and that was early in the SEC season. But LSU's played a lot of teams tough.
They did. I caught the second half of them playing Alabama, and they actually played them really well until Bama pulled away late. I was surprised for what their record is. LSU's obviously a flawed team, or they wouldn't be 3-14 or whatever they are at this point.
Right.
But don't sit there and say they're just awful. You can't just show up and expect to win. You said it yourself. I mean,
no, absolutely. You've got to show up, play. And, I think A&M will. But if you look back at LSU's schedule, I mean, they've played a lot of close games, and including, A&M beat them by 3 points in the opener. So that was a very close game, 75-72. And, they played, just looking at it, they played Arkansas to 4 points. And, A&M went in there and got smashed. And, like you said, they played Alabama in Texas, in Austin, beat them 88-85. So, yeah, you got to show up and play. I think they will. But very, very excited about what this team can do. And I love just listening to Bucky, because you don't have to kind of interpret what he's trying to say. He actually just says things that you understand. And it's simplistic. It's easy to quote him, I'm sure. Unlike the last guy, I don't know how those guys ever got a quote. It's just rambling on and on and on.
Yes, I don't. Yeah, yes. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with the on that one. I will say, Bucky gave us the quote of the year with "This is war," and then went on with the whole "I'm not coaching to not lose, I'm coaching to win." And I almost felt like ripping off the shirt and following him, yelling freedom as I was doing it. Because one of the things I've always hated is coaches that coach not to lose. Anytime I hear a coach go, "We just want to be one play better," I almost break into tears, because trying to depend on 18 to 21-year-olds to win by one play, to giving yourself zero margin. And on college level, every sport, it is about chaos. It is about managing mistakes, because everyone's going to make mistakes. Sure. You look at a football game and coach says he wants to win by one play, and you could track 12 mistakes that both sides made. Seems idiotic to me. And to hear a coach go, "I'm coaching to win," that every decision he makes is about how we win, not how do we not lose. I'm sorry that he put my rally cry out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the way that, that it just that run just built on itself. And, the crowd was disappointing. The size of the crowd was disappointing, but the volume of those who were there was really good.
If you can't sell out Kentucky, you got a problem.
And it was nowhere close. Nowhere close. And very disappointed about that. There was a lot of blue in that arena, too. And so I just feel like, and there's a lot of people, I'm sure, that walked over from the baseball game. But you got to figure it out. A midweek game against Incarnate Word is not as big as the basketball game against Kentucky. So, leave the baseball game early, get in your seats, and fill that thing up. I mean, the students, it should have been somebody more. And it was very disappointing. But, again, the crowd that was there got into it, and it was such a fun run.
It was. And, something, I said this earlier in the week, I made a mistake. When the Aggies were rolling and before the dark days kicked in, I felt like the key to the entire team was Rashawn Agee. Like, he had to get his, and then the whole team worked. And then going through the dark 2-month period, The realization was I was wrong. I can admit when I'm wrong. I do that once a year. And what I was wrong was they need everyone to do their role. They don't have the NBA draft pick guy that if he goes off, they win. And that includes Rashawn Agee, because we have learned that without a point guard to lead, they can't win. Without Ruben to hit threes, which then opens up more, they can't win because they don't have the NBA guy that goes for 30. Because they even had Clements went for 29 and they lost. It's not about that with this team. Everybody just needs to do their role, and then they can go on a 27-3 run, a 44-11 run, if everyone just does their role. It's not about someone going off for 30.
No, I totally agree. They've got to always have at least the third scorer, and they didn't have that a lot during that streak. And I guess Texas, they didn't have it. I mean, Agee and Hill, that was it. And they didn't get contributions from Ryland Griffin or Ruben or Pop, and very little from Zach. I think he had like one made shot, and it just wasn't there. And then, Ali Deba has done a lot of good things, and throughout the year, I have zero confidence when he goes to the free throw line, but he made a couple free throws the other night against Kentucky. So I was again, I got scolded again by my wife, and I was like, oh, gosh, he's going to miss these. And then he hits them both, and I was like,
she should tell you, put $1 in the doubt jar.
Yes, I'm sure. She and my daughter both were kind of on me, but I was very happy afterwards.
No doubt. Great. I don't want to say, okay, we'll wrap with this, but best win of the year?
Yeah, I mean, it's right up there with Texas and Georgia, I would say. Those three are the best. But, yeah, I mean, this one was definitely the best home win of the year.
Yeah. For me, especially, I throw the circumstance in. You're 2-6, 2-month slump, kind of needing to shore up your resume. I feel back to the wall for your NCAA tournament hopes, needing 2 wins, according to Lenardi, with kind of 2 regular seasons. Do you want to go to the tournament where neutral doesn't have bonus points? I guess when I framed it all, that's why I said best win for me was this Kentucky game.
Yeah, and because Kentucky needed it too. I mean, Kentucky's sitting there in the same situation that A&M was in, and so they really needed it, and because they got to go play Florida this weekend, and so it's not going to be it's not going to be easy. I mean, yeah, they're Kentucky, and they're sitting there at 10-7, but they're looking at 10-8 and probably 19-12 in the regular season. That's probably still good enough because it's Kentucky, but A&M. One thing we've learned is that you do not leave it to the committee. So go ahead and take care of business against LSU, team with a tie for the worst record in the conference, and then remove all doubt.
So you're an Aggie historian. I say that all the time because it's true. And maybe you can make, I don't know about top 10, but how about top 5 year one history A&M all-time head coaches?
Well, I mean, Kevin Sumlin was pretty darn good his first year. And you could argue that was his only really good year.
I would argue that. He was 8-4 after, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean,
which isn't awful, man. Doesn't it suck that we have to say 8-4 like it's a bad thing?
That first team he had they understood what they had in Johnny Manziel in the Florida game, they probably win that game, and they, if everything else is equal, then they win the national championship because no one was going to beat them at the end of the season, and they'd already beaten Alabama, and so. Had that team played Notre Dame in the national championship, they would have destroyed them. First year, that was pretty spectacular. I mean, Billy Clyde Gillespie was pretty darn good his first year. Didn't make the NCAA tournament, but he made the NIT, which at that time was huge because they had gone 0-16 in the Big 12, 0-17 if you want to count that first-round Big 12 tournament loss under Melvin. So when he came in and sold Antoine Wright on, hey, listen, I need you to be the leader, and he also sold A.C. Law's parents on, your son's going to want to quit, but I'm going to make him something, and don't let him quit. and then that team getting to the NIT was huge. Yeah, I'm just thinking the big three. I would say, obviously Slomnagel was pretty impressive in his first year. So I gave you one of each: football, basketball, and baseball. How will that do?
No. I'm with you because I thought this through, and I put Bucky above the other two. Someone's a good argument.
Oh yeah,
those
yeah.
all
I
took
put Bucky number one.
Okay. So you do. Okay,
yeah.
Good.
Yes.
Okay, it's an all-timer, and I always like to put it number one, but I hate the drama guy where everything's the greatest every day.
I misunderstood. I thought you were talking about other than Bucky, but yeah, I would say Bucky's number one. Based on the expectations of this team, yeah, I mean, I think someone's first year, I knew they were going to be pretty good. I thought that Mike Sherman had underachieved horrifically the year before, and so I thought that team was going to be pretty good, even though I didn't know, what we had in Johnny Manziel. But I would definitely put Bucky up there because I had zero expectations this year, and especially when Mackenzie Mbaku went down, and for him to do what they've done with being so undersized and putting the team together, so they're I'm putting him number one.
Awesome. Dude, how about a timeout, coming back, a little Aggie baseball and more?
Let's do it.
Rusty Burson, Aggie historian, and author, hangs out with us on the D4 Land Services hotline. If you ever need your land fixed up, land cleared, land excavated, and maybe you've just always wondered about it, but was like, I don't know, I've never thought about using someone to help me, go check out what D4 Land Services can do for you at d4landservices.com. d4landservices.com. I'll be right back. It's the Louie Bellina Show, Thursday on The Zone.
Make sure to get the podcast of TexAgs Live, the Louie Bellina Show, or Chip Howard Sports Talk Daily at zone1150.com and everywhere you get your podcasts.
The Louie Bellina Show inside the Charles Schwab studio. At least I am on a Thursday. Low cost, full service, best of all local. That is Schwab. That is Mark Sim, who's our local Charles Schwab agent representative. Find them online at schwab.com/College Station. Charles Schwab and Company Incorporated, member SIPC. I said at least I am because Rusty Burson, he's a Thursday thing. Well, he's an everyday thing, he exists. But Thursdays, he hangs out with us on the D4 Land Services hotline. Rusty, Aggie Baseball, another weekend, another sweep, another midweek, another run rule. Aggie Baseball, basically, hey, they got run ruled by, I think, obviously the number one team in the country. Again, when number two in the country, LSU, has lost 3 midweek games, I'm going to go with the obvious number one team in the country, UCLA. But other than that, Aggie Baseball's really taking care of business to start the year.
Yeah, I bought an app so I could watch all 3 of those games this weekend.
I'm sorry.
And no, it was good because I saw something I'd never seen before in baseball. And I did not realize that if ball goes in your jersey, it's being caught. Technically, it was using the jersey to make the catch, which you can't do. But I really didn't know that rule until I saw it happen, and I was impressed with the umpires who busted out the rule book, and it took them a little time to find it, but they made the right call, and so that was worth it. And I thought the Aggies, other than Saturday night against UCLA, looked really good. I tell you what, you never know from night to night, but UCLA's lineup was top to bottom about one of the best lineups I've seen in a long time. LSU had a lineup a couple years ago that was really, really good. But UCLA is number one for a reason. I was very, very impressed with their offensive lineup. And, of course, they did a great job pitching, too. I mean, A&M got a home run out of Jake Dewar, and that was it. They didn't get anything else. And so I love the way they bounced back against Arizona State. I thought it was just a tremendous outing, a pick-me-up outing by Aiden Sims after Weston Moss didn't have such a good outing. And Shane Sadeo was fantastic on Friday night. So all things considered, you stepped up your game against, competition, and like Coach Early said many times, it wasn't a 3-game series against the same team, but we won the weekend, and that's what you want to do every weekend.
No, absolutely. And again, and their bats are coming alive, and you're getting the best Sunday starter you've seen in a while. So they're not just you want to win every weekend, but there's more than that in the non-con first month when you're playing mutt teams. Let's be fair here. There's more than just win.
Yeah, I mean, Abe Sims is he's really impressive. I mean, he's started 3 games. He's 2-0. ERA right around 2. Shane Sdeo's under 2. So you hope to get Moss straightened out, and but when you have the opportunity to win every Sunday, that's probably going to give you a chance to win a lot of series. And there's a lot of teams that don't have any pitching on Sunday, or it's clearly the third starter by a long shot. Well, A&M's going to have an advantage on a lot of Sundays, even in the SEC, with a guy who's really looked so good so far.
I want to finish up random things that caught my attention that may be of interest to you, too. Why does Myles Garrett have so many speeding tickets? For those that don't know, Myles Garrett, the other day, got his 9th speeding ticket since 2017. He entered the league in 2017. His 9th speeding ticket. He was doing a 94 miles an hour and a 70 mile an hour speeding speed limit. And he was doing 94. Now, he got it a month ago, but finally, court date and all, and he's just going to have to pay a fine. But he played for A&M, not Georgia.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to know Miles real well. He was, I was already over here at Miramont by then, and we weren't doing the features. So I didn't get to know him as well as I knew a lot of the other players in sports when I was working at the 12th Man Foundation. But Miles is he likes to go fast, obviously. I'm always kind of amazed when I hear
he likes to go fast. He's the Ricky Bobby of the NFL.
Yes. But you know what always amazes me is when I see or hear on, listen to the radio and like, so-and-so was arrested for the 34th time for DWI. I was like, God, can we just, stop letting these people out? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but you hear it all the time, right? It's like,
yes, no. I listen to WTAW News. Bill Oliver, news director,
yeah,
and we have newscasts on the morning as part of the our morning show, Unsportsmanlike. We do a little 2-minute news once an hour. So I hear it, and you go, Billy Ray Bob so-and-so was released on bond after being arrested for the 23rd time.
Yes.
And you're like, wait,
on, man.
After the 15th, everyone 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22 should have to be arrested with him. There should be some kind of attached responsibility.
You know what? There was an indecent exposure thing I saw just yesterday for the 9th time. I was like, are you kidding me? I don't know. I'm speechless on stuff like that. It's just, it's maddening and it's frustrating, and it's like, but at the same token, you're like, people, when are you going to learn?
Do you think maybe that's why he doesn't leave Cleveland? Because they're very understanding on speeding tickets? Because you would think, and he talks about Super Bowl, but maybe the state of Ohio just has different speeding laws.
Yeah, I don't know. I would not want to live in Ohio. I just, not anything against Ohio, but it just doesn't sound like a place that I'd really want to be. So
this is his 9th speeding ticket. He did 94 and a 70. Last August, he was doing 100 and a 60.
All right, Miles, it's time to slow down.
Okay. And look,
it's time to slow down.
Earlier in my life, I had speeding issues. I'm not going to lie to you. I was arrested 3 times in relation to such things. So, yes, I understand this world probably better than the average bear. And for me, I learned my lesson when I realized, wait, how much money am I wasting on this? My insurance canceled me.
I tell you, my dad showed me tough love when I was in college. And I'd had a few too many beers and was still driving and got pulled over and got arrested and got put into jail and had to call my parents and they had to come get me. And I drove from Centerville to Fort Worth in the back seat with my mom and dad and no words, not a single word the entire way back. Till we got home, sat down, he said, listen, you're entitled to one mistake. Everybody's entitled to one mistake. You ever do that again, you're on your own. No school payments from me, no nothing. You are on your own. And learned a lesson. Very, very valuable lesson. Because I was like in between my freshman and sophomore year, and that never happened again. And it was tough love. But sometimes you gotta dish it out if you're a parent. And I've had to do it with my own children. And but they don't call it tough love because it's easy.
Yeah. I remember when I was a kid, here's the thing, many years in beer, so things blur, but I was 10, 11, 12, and at my birthday, my dad just kind of said, you became a man today. You can do what you want to do. You can tell your mom and I, and you can clear things with us, or you just do what you want. And you're free. And the day you mess up, though, I'll own you to the day you die. You then will answer to me at all times. So you're free, but if you check with me, I can help you, and you're kind of, off the hook thing. So you decide the path you want to go, but today you're a man and you make your decisions. You involve us, we'll be there for you, help you. You do it on your own. When you screw up, I have to take over. So he let me make my decisions. He let me accept the responsibility if I felt that was the path, or involve the parents and benefit from their grace and wisdom.
There you go. I mean, we hope that you get wiser the older you get, and in a lot of ways, yes, that's true. Sometimes I, want to punch myself like, why'd you do that? But for the most part, yeah, I'm a lot different than I was 20, 30 years ago, and that's a God-blessed thing.
So I'll leave you with this, because I said it's random, right?
Sure.
And this is, but I'm sure you're familiar with the Yes Network, right? Yankees, New York, and all that.
Yes.
And the Yes Network decided to go with this really phenomenal theory. They lowered the price of the Yes Network because they wanted to get subscriber growth. And they have found they had a 28% rise, 28%, by the way. And they've been out for a while.
Yeah.
Subscriber growth because they lowered their price. And I'm just like, and one of the big things is they're finding that people are just consuming them so much more in streaming. They had a Yankees-Mets spring training game that had 41,200 people watching it on streaming.
Jeez.
For spring training. And minds are being blown that lower price equals more people will consume the product. And I'm just sitting here kind of going, no, really?
You know what? You know how much I love Major League Baseball, right?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Dab knows I watch spring training game. Not a single one. Now, if I was to get to go, to spring training, then yeah, it'd be totally different. But I wouldn't go to watch the games. I'd go to be closer to the players because they have so much more access to the players when you're at spring training. But spring training games mean nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. And most of the time, your starters are going to be in there for 2 innings, right? So
That's
Jacob deGrom's pitching today against Brazil, and I had fellow Rangers fans who were really excited. Got to stream this one. No, he's going to be in there for an inning and a half max, and if it's his first start, he's not going to be top of his game. He doesn't care. I mean, if he gives up 6 runs, but he still feels good, that's what spring training is about.
Spring training, a pitcher goes in, and we're going to say the established veteran types, and he goes, I'm throwing one pitch. I'm working on this one pitch for 3 outs, and he doesn't care if he gives up 20 hits and 50 runs. I'm working on the curveball. I'm throwing 20 curveballs.
Yeah, Evaldi gave up like 6 runs in his first inning, his first start, because I felt good. I mean, I was working on some things, so it's like doesn't matter. So I mean, and there's a temptation for us to go, hey, look, my team's off to a great start in the Cactus League or the Grape League. That means nothing at all.
Exhibition NFL. If you want to start betting money and bragging and predicting based upon the NFL preseason, may the Lord have mercy on your soul.
No, they can't give away those tickets. I know guys who have season tickets, and they can't give away those preseason tickets in Houston or in Dallas.
Well, pay to park, pay the concession stand prices for an exhibition NFL game. Even though one of my greatest moments in my sports life, Oilers-Rams, it was the year Eric Dickerson was holding out, and he actually was holding out, and he showed up and sat behind me, and I got his autograph, and it was on the front where they had all the 2,000-yard rushers. He was on the front of it, and I got his autograph on the cover of the game day program.
Awesome. That's awesome.
There you go. Rusty, go be awesome. Thank you always. Have an amazing weekend, brother. I'll check in with you next week.
All right. See you, buddy.
Later. Rusty Burson, Aggie historian and author, hanging out with us on the D4 Land Services hotline for land clearing, excavation, land fixed up, forestry, mulching, pond construction, and metal build. They do a lot. Go to d4landservices.com to check out everything. They do a lot. d4landservices.com. When we return, it's kind of the sprint to the finish, yeah? Here on the Louie Bellina Show, Thursday on The Zone.
Be in the know about the Louie Bellina Show.
In the morning, you are awakened by the twitter of a little bird.
Follow at LouieB1150. That's at LouieB1150.
Follow us on Twitter.
It is Thursday. We got 20 minutes left together. Down the stretch we come. Couple of programming service announcements about the Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM in the Louie Bellina Show. Tonight at 7, Aggie Diamond Hour, Michael Early, A&M Baseball head coach. 7 to 8, listen, Aggie Diamond Hour here on the Zone app, radioaggieland.com. Tell Alexa play Zone 1150. Tomorrow, Friday, here on the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, residential and commercial and industrial services, what they do at CC Electric. Tomorrow, Friday, our hour number 1, Aggie Coaching Hour. Michael Early will preview the Oakland series, 11:20. Bucky McMillan will preview LSU, 11:35. High school sports update. Thank you to Kelly Dozer, 11:55. Bryce Jones, barbecue pit master. Each Friday, noon till 1, here inside the Charles Schwab studio. That is the lineup, the starting lineup. Our plan, TBD. No, wait, subject to change. There we go. That's Friday on the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. Also, and maybe it's the single most important thing to some people, the last chance, the end of 3 weeks, the last chance to get your name on the list, to be a finalist, to win a pair of tickets to go see Creed at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. We've been registering people 1 week, 2 week. This is the end of the third and final week. And we've been doing caller 5 sometimes. We've been texting and then blind drawing. Tomorrow, don't know yet. Listen in. And it's all thanks to Grohalski Sausage Company. They have 2 locations. The OG location, South Main Street, Remond. The new kid on the block location, South Main Street in Calvert. I think it's worth it to follow Grohalski Sausage Company on socials, their Facebook page especially. Why? They'll tell you when they're making burgers. Today is their brisket. So they make food for you to try, but also what they have going on. They are the definition of local and community, the kind of things that I'm always looking for. Check it out for yourself. They're Grohalski Sausage on Facebook, and GrohalskiSausage.com is their webpage, things like that. As we head towards the finish line here on Thursday, I kind of wanted to go chill inside the lifestyles portion, because this, depending on your age, is going to make you smile and chuckle. This is kind of like growing up. This was a thing from the whole internet, interwebs, but tiny victories that make millennials feel like they've arrived. This isn't a millennials thing. I think this is every generation. And when they say arrived, it's grown up. I don't think it has to do with any generation X, Y, Z, millennials, phillennials, zillennials. This is the things that, and it made me laugh. And depending on your age, either you'll be, I can't wait, oh yeah, I remember, or freaking millennials. You know, you'll be kicking things. But tiny victories that feel like they've arrived, and checkpoints that tell you you're adulting grown up. I don't know, like finally upgrading from a full-size bed to a new king bed. Being able to pay your bills on auto pay, that's a threshold. Now, for older universe people, there was no auto pay, but yeah, when you write checks, if you're older, now it's auto pay, and you don't think immediately. You're not sitting there going, oh no, do I have it? Auto pay. Whether it was actual online electronic or writing a check and not thinking about it. I thought this one was outstanding. Remember before you got established in life, all these markers of, whew, this is different. Not having to panic when you have a $5,000 or $1,000 emergency. A lot of us now, I'm not one of them. I do not live in the Miramont universe, but now people are like 10,000. It's not, but remember when the brakes, like last year, my brakes, and oh gosh, it was expensive. So, and it was over 1,000, and I was just like, oh, come on, people. But still, this was the whole tiny victories that you've arrived, but not having to panic when you have a $500,000 emergency. It becomes a, quote, more of a bummer than a major anxiety. This one, I don't know, but okay. Having a drink fridge in the garage is a tiny vic. Sure, okay. Paying off your student loans or buying a house, tiny victories. And again, these are the signs of adulthood, or you know, you've reached that plateauness. But buying a new couch rather than getting a random hand-me-down. And I remember in my life, I'm sure you in yours, these moments. This one made me chuckle, but having plastic hangers that are all the same color. Seeing your credit score surpassing the 800 mark. I'd be willing to bet a couple of hot dogs, no real money, that there's still people that haven't done that. So regardless of the generation or age groupings that are still fighting to reach 800, a couple of more for you. But buying nice matching glass cups instead of random plastic cups. I know that statement is true, but when you live in the sports fandom universe, you can't help but gather and collect random plastic cups. Don't hate us, okay? This one, having the money for a nice tattoo every now and then seems a little specific-y. I am pro tattoos. I love tattoos. I think they're artwork. So this isn't an anti-tattoo kind of stance or concept, but I'm not sure if I'd have that on the list, but okay. This one, I wish this had been true for me, but not switching out your 2-week contacts after only 2 weeks. I always wanted to try contacts, but the cataracts in my eye, so wicked bad that I tried contacts, couldn't stay in for more than 2 hours. Maybe technology today has caught up, but I reached that point that I was so used to glasses, I forgot to check about contacts after a while. Maybe technology today, I could wear contacts for an extended stretch, making it worth it. It just wasn't worth it for me when I grew up needing eye assistance. So you get used to glasses, you don't even know you're wearing them, so I didn't care. But yeah, I could not wear contacts. Had to wear hard lenses, not soft lenses. And, you know, you get 2 hours before they start watering. I'm like, wait a minute. There's no function. You know? Here's one that I put on the gospel according to Lou list of tiny victories that feel like they've arrived, which basically things that you reach the adult level, regardless of generation and age. I think they're universal, but hiring movers instead of asking friends. Hiring movers instead of asking friends. Look, I have been the dude, people's friends forever. And so I probably had an extension. I got asked to help people move longer than the average bear. So it's not so much about me moving as much as being the guy people asked to help move. And this wasn't attached to where I saw this, but the whole, hey man, here's a 12-pack. I love beer. And you could tell me you're going to go get me a 12er of St. Arnold's, even a case of a craft beer, which that's insane expensive. It ain't worth it once you reach a certain point in the universe. Thank you. Even like, oh, I'll take you to, no, I don't want dinner in a 12. I don't want to help anybody move. I love you to death. And when you say help you move, do you want me to open the door? Do you want me to cheer you on as you go by me? Right? I mean, these are, but to actual 2 days, 8 hours a day of lifting furniture and boxes, you'll kill me now. But I think I had longer in that season because of just my age, just because I was the dude. I was the friend. I was the guy you knew you could count on. So people did. But being the bachelor for life concept, ooh. This last one, not living with a roommate. Due to my financial structure, I also had roommates longer than you should. Way longer. I remember the day. I also lived with friends and enjoyed the concept versus, not. But I remember when I first time, no roommate, later than the average bear again, and didn't realize what everyone was talking about. The sounds of silence, everything going on around you is you and you only and your fault, and went, oh my God. Why did I knew I waited so long. I needed the money help with roommates. But I lived with friends. We had good times. The great Bretsky and others, right? But, I went, whoa. It was, whoa. There you go. That's very deep thought. That's why I lose a Norman Einstein genius. Whoa. When we come back, I got there's like 4 texts. Man, I got to get to the Texas Mobile One Lube Express inbox. People are sharing some of their thoughts on some of the tiny victories that feel like you've arrived and more. We'll wrap up the Louie Bellina Show on a Thursday. The Louie Bellina Show presented by CC Electric on the Zone.
Home on the road or Omaha. You can hear Aggie Baseball on the Zone.
The Louie Bellina Show from inside the Charles Schwab studio. The Louie Bellina Show presented by CC Electric. We are going to wrap things up inside the Texas Mobile One Lube Express inbox. We've been having fun today. We've hung out with Cedric Golden. We hang out with Rusty Burson. Entered the lifestyles portion a couple of times. College football notebook, maroon and white notebook. JT5150 said ZZ Top's Afterburner sleeping bag was too commercial. They were not the little old band from Texas after that. True, but I never held it against them. When you're in your 30th, 40th, 50th, and 100th year of making music, it's unrealistic to expect them to stay the little old band from Texas. They had success going commercial. So you're absolutely correct, but I never thought anything of it. Like, I understood, and they had success. Now, they didn't know when their commercial time was over and they chased it a little too long, but yeah, you're right. But I still think ZZ Top, incredible, epic. Tony Montoya says, I know a guy who never made any mistakes, lived the perfect life. Jesus. True. Jarrett, we were talking about the tiny victories that make millennials feel like they're arrived. And the list really was just the moments in life that make you feel like you're an adult, that mark you're transitioning, that you've arrived kind of thing. It has nothing to do with age or generation. It's just all of us. I think Jarrett said, and this one is filling up your car until the tank is full instead of only putting in like $5 or $10 in it to make it a few more dates. That is so good, Jarrett. They should, I would put it in over some of these without a doubt. Filling up your car until the tank is full instead of like, well, here's $5. Maybe I can make it the next payday. Oh, that's gospel stuff. Good stuff, Jarrett. Thank you very much. And Bryce Jones, barbecue pit master, who'll be with me noon till 6. Bryce Jones of the Smokin' Aces competition team. He just put down one of the commandments here. I don't know if we have 5 or 10 or 50, but still, friends, don't ask friends to help move. true after a certain point, my friend. I mean, in the beginning, you know, I lived in 4 places like in my first 5 years, and I didn't ask friends, but friends would ask me. So the OU one, they're the ones I would ask. I didn't seek out people to ruin their lives, but people would ask me and I would, and they'd be like, okay, that's who I'm looking up if I had to. But then after that, I stopped it. What a nightmare. All right. I'm back tomorrow at 11. Have an amazing Thursday. Peace. This has been the Louie Bellina Show.